Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. If I can direct your attention to the track on my front, the home side bleachers. Gathered there now is Coach Larry Bishop, his wife Sandra, his son Shane, his daughter Lachey. Along with them is a group of Coach Bishop's players who have a special presentation tonight. 40 years ago, spring of 1979, a little silver Mazda brought Coach Larry Bishop to Winston County High School. He came here after coaching Sulligent and Hazelwood, where he won a state championship, and at Coal Springs. Coach Bishop's commitment to Winston County High School was a family commitment. His wife Sandra became a fixture at practice as the driver of a silver Mazda that brought Gatorade. The sound of that car was known and recognized by every football player as it signaled that the Gator Lady had arrived. Along with their sons, Shane and Tracy, and daughter Lachey, the Bishops lived in a gray house on Highway 195, a house that was easily identified every Saturday in the fall. The clothes hanging on the line were always football jerseys and football pants. Miss Bishop had spent the night washing. Long before the phrase "all in" was popular, Coach Bishop and his family were all in about Winston County. They were a permanent fixture in our community. Wherever kids hung out, you could find Coach Bishop and Miss Sandra. Coach Bishop served as head coach. Coach Bishop served as head football coach from the fall of 1979 until the fall of 1992. During those 14 seasons, his teams won 94 games. They made the first playoff appearance in the modern era of AHSAA football for Winston County High School. 3 times his teams entered the playoffs as region champions. In 1980, his team was eliminated in the first round by the Green Wave from Gordo, who would eventually be the state champion. His teams again would be eliminated by Gordo in 1981 and in 85, with the 1985 Green Wave again winning a state championship. The 1986 season ended in a semifinal playoff game on a rain-drenched field in Woodland, Alabama. The 1987 team would defeat a Hazelwood team here on this field in the semifinals, a Hazelwood team that would not lose another game in Classification 2A until a state championship in 1993. And that Hazelwood win earned Winston County High School a berth in the 1987 state championship game played here at Malcolm Blake Stadium. The Jackets would come up short to the visiting Reeltown Rebels by a score of 9-7. In the fall of 1989, Coach Bishop led the Jackets to the 3rd round of the playoffs before giving up a score in literally the last second of a game at Rogers High School. The Jackets under Coach Bishop appeared in the first round of playoffs again in 1990 and in 1991 in Rogersville, Alabama at Lauderdale County High School. In 14 years, the Jackets made the playoffs a 9th time in 1992 in a game with Lamar County High School. During his tenure as Winston County head football coach, 10 players were recognized with all-state honors. 3 of those players were recognized in multiple years. In his years as head coach, his greatest success was not on the field. A generation of young men from our community played some really good football in those days, but they also learned the lessons that have guided them through their lives until today. Some have become engineers and lawyers, while others went on to college to earn a degree. Maybe it was an associate's degree, and that helped them be successful. Many became leaders in our local communities, in our local companies, and became very successful. Many became successful in the military and in law enforcement. And still others began their own business and have succeeded. All all have leaned on a work ethic taught on a place called Masada. Leadership skills and a never give up attitude that made boys into men. Coach Bishop's boys became loyal employees. They've given back to their communities and they have raised their families with the same work ethic Coach Bishop taught on a hard practice field and under the lights on a Friday night. A group of his former players formed a committee and approached school administration, Superintendent Greg Penley and the Winston County Board of Education about naming the field house in Coach Bishop's honor. With the support of Mr. Penley, Board Member Alan Bailey, Principal Jeff Cole, and the Winston County Board of Education, the naming of the field house is a reality. Through several meetings of this board of players, a plaque was designed, lettering was designed, contractors were secured, and a project was completed. The job was completed and unveiled on September 24th. Tonight, we've gathered here to dedicate the field house that was constructed during Coach Bishop's watch and now officially named the Larry Bishop Fieldhouse. A plaque has been placed on the wall near the door that reads, the Larry Bishop Fieldhouse. This building is named in honor of Coach Larry Bishop. In 1979, Coach Bishop landed in Double Springs as head football coach at Winston County High School. Over the next 14 seasons, Bishop's Yellow Jackets went 94-62 and made the state playoffs 9 times. He retired with more wins than any other football coach in school history. However, Coach Bishop's tremendous success on the field pales in comparison to the positive influences he had on the hundreds of football players he coached throughout his career. This plaque was donated by his former players. Before tonight's presentation, I'm going to ask Casey Bonds Costin, the daughter of one of Coach Bishop's former players, Casey Bonds. Casey wrote these words, and Cameron is going to read, "Get the lights, Coach." These words were heard many times by his players and are very special to anyone that played for Coach Bishop. These words are understood by every player as much as the sound of that Mazda that Miss Bishop drove to practice with Gatorade. You had to have been there to fully understand and truly appreciate their meaning. For those who were, every word is powerful and every word is true. So ladies and gentlemen, I give you Miss Cameron Bonds Costin.
Long afternoons of dirt, dust, mud, sweat, blood, and the sled was nothing in comparison to hearing, "Get the lights, Coach." You knew your day just got longer and you would see the sunset in Malcolm Blake Stadium. These afternoons that turned into evenings also turned boys into men. Through this, we learned that the wisdom and knowledge that comes from hard work and dedication leads to success. As players, it's hard to see this in the moment. The life lived after allows us to reflect on this simple truth. Learning to put your team, school, and community first translates into real life with the team you have been given, which is your family. These are the fundamentals of life that we learned from Coach Larry Bishop. We were always prepared for victory, knowing the game wasn't over until it was over. Leaving it all on the field from start to finish was the goal. Victory was waiting on the field of life. Coach Bishop's legacy spans over generations of players and their families. The lessons we learned and the impact he made linger in our hearts and minds long after the lights go out, and we are forever grateful to call him Coach.
To Coach Bishop, Miss Bishop, Shane, Lachey, and Dr. Tracy Bishop, who left us much too soon, thank you is just not enough. But there really are no adequate words to express our appreciation to you. From all of us to you, thank you, and please know that we love you. At this time, the board of former players, along with this group of players that are gathered here beside him, would like to make a special presentation which is a replica of the plaque that is on the wall of the field house. And now Coach Greg Dinsmore will present a jersey from this year's group of Yellow Jackets, the Winston County #1 jersey for you, Coach. Ladies and gentlemen, as we conclude this ceremony tonight, Coach, we'd like to ask you one more time. We'd like to ask you, Coach, again, to lead us in the Lord's Prayer, just as you did in every field house before every game, in the minutes before the team took the field for 14 years. If you'd lead us, Coach.